Thank you, Phyllis. Thank you so much. Please join us now as we tap into that Christmas spirit. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. See the blazing Yule before us, fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, fa la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure, fa la 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 la. Regardless of the wind and weather, fa la 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 la. And now we're going to continue with singing the Christmas carol, Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hail the heavenly Prince of Peace, hail the Son of Righteousness. Light and light to all he brings, rest with healings in his wings. While he lays his glory by, born that men no more may die. Born to raise the sons of earth, born to give them second birth. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King.
Together, there's only one presence and one power in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. This power expresses life, love, wisdom, and abundance through me. In it I live and move and have my being. Thank you, Phyllis, for that beautiful opening song on Still, Still, Still. So lovely. Good morning. My name is Dan, and I'll be your service leader today. And welcome to Unity of Bloomington. It's our live streaming service, and we extend a special welcome to anyone who is joining us for the first time. You can always find us on both Facebook and or YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and you can find the links. You can also find the links to our streaming service on our website, and our website is unityofbloomington.org. And while you're on our website, check out our newsletters, and there's a lot on there. So just, check things out. And again, the links to the live service are always at unityofbloomington.org. At Unity, we offer practical spiritual teachings that empower abundant and meaningful living. We are a center for spiritual growth, and we provide inspiration, tools, and practices that support people on their path of spiritual growth. And so we're now going to do a call and response, and I'll do the wordy bits, as Dave likes to say, and you all come in with the response. So God is absolute good, everywhere present. We have a spark of divinity within us, the Christ Spirit within. Our very essence is of God, and therefore we are also inherently good. I am. We create our experience of life by the activity of our thinking. Everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. I create. Prayer is creative thinking that heightens the connection with God mind and therefore brings forth wisdom, wholeness, prosperity, and everything good. I pray. Through thought, words, and action, we live the truth we know. I live. I'd like to highlight a couple of things. First of all, our virtual Unity Cafe. Grab a cup of coffee and get comfortable and say hello to your friends, your Unity friends, and online after the service. And I think that starts right at 11:30 or as soon as we finish our service. You can join the Zoom meeting after the service from our Facebook group under announcements, or go to unityofbloomington.org and scroll down and see the link below that connect you to the live streams of Facebook and YouTube. You should also see a link in the comments on this video that you can cut and paste in your browser, and that will get you to the live stream Unity Cafe. And now, Phyllis Wycliffe has an announcement.
Thank you, Dan. We are kind of a supporter of the New Hope Family Shelter for homeless families. If you're not aware of that, it is only one of only 7 shelters in the entire state that allows families to stay together when they are homeless, rather than separating by gender. So we've been a supporter of them for a couple of years, and we're going to participate in their Christmas gift exchange this year. If you would contact me, things are going to be done a little differently this year because of COVID. You need to contact me, hopefully within the next couple of days, today or tomorrow, if you are interested in participating in this, so that we can kind of get an idea of how many people are going to be on the giving end of it, so we know how many families we can take care of. You can contact me. My contact information is on the website. It's also in our newsletter, but its email is first initial, last name, pwycliffe@gmail.com, or you can call or text me at 317-847-7389. If you are wanting to just participate by sending money, we're happy to shop for you, and you can send a check to the church here at 4001 South Rogers, or give me a call and I'll come pick up, check or money. If you want to produce a gift or, go out and shop yourself, give me a call. I'll come pick that up too when you're done with that. So if you contact me, I'm kind of the intermediary here between the church and the shelter, so that we know kind of what's going on. They're asking us to provide up to a cap of $40 on a single gift this year, rather than providing lots of crayons and that kind of stuff, just a single gift. Partially that's so that you don't have to do a lot of shopping and be out with a lot of people, and partially I think that's just to make things a little easier in the administration area of it too. So if you are interested, please contact me sometime today or tomorrow. If you don't contact me, you still can get in later, but I kind of need an idea of how many people are going to participate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Phyllis. Thank you. We wanted to show you a few photos, or share with you a few photos that we received from our community, and these are from the Smithsons.
Thank you, Dan. Yes, this first photo that you see is part of the fall packet that we sent out to those people that are part of our youth and family ministry, and it's the fall leaf tree that people put together, and it was used here as the centerpiece for their Thanksgiving dinner. So I made a nice little centerpiece. Let's go to that next slide, Seb. Here we have
a turkey that was provided by Miss Patty Robinson, and she wanted to make sure the children had something fun to do over the Thanksgiving holiday. So here is one of the Smithson's turkey that they put together. And this next slide is one that Reverend Lynn specifically sent out. She did the paper mache kind of stained glass art project she sent out earlier this fall, and the Smithsons just wanted to show us what they did with their project. So if you are part of our program, our youth and family program, and you want to send some photos to us so that we can share with our community, please just send them to gingercurry@gmail.com, and I'd love to put them in our service. So thank you, Smith and family, for sending us these wonderful, wonderful creations that show the creativity of the Christ Spirit in you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ginger. Thank you, Smithsons. I love them. Advent is the season in the Christian church that begins 4 Sundays before Christmas and ends on Christmas Eve. And each Sunday during the season, it is traditional to light a new candle in what we call an Advent wreath, a circle of evergreen branches that represents eternity. Each candle represents an aspect of the spiritual preparation for the birth of the Christ child. This year, in addition to the Advent candle, we are going to create an Advent poster on our wall. And last week, Betsy placed the Hope and Faith candle on the Advent wall. And Betsy, could you please add the Peace candle to our Advent wall? Wonderful. Thank you, Betsy.
Thank you, everyone. If you received an Advent booklet, or if you received an email of the Advent booklet, I invite you to read along with me the second Sunday of Advent, reading the peace pages on 24 through 26. So for Sunday, December the 6th, 2020, most renditions of the Christmas story begin with the angel Gabriel telling Mary she is to bear a son. But in the Gospel of Luke, Jesus' birth story parallels John the Baptist. Months before visiting Mary, Gabriel appeared to Zechariah to announce that Zechariah's wife, Elizabeth, who was Mary's cousin, would bear a son to be named John. Because he was so old, Zechariah questions whether paternity is even possible, and like Mary's initial response to her improbable pregnancy. But while Mary questions are answered, Zechariah is chastened for doubting and then struck mute for the duration of his wife Elizabeth's pregnancy. The situation and the questions are the same, but Mary gets encouragement while Zechariah gets silenced. Why? Basic metaphysic interpretation dictates that male figures usually represent the intellect or the head, while female figures represent intuition, the heart. Perhaps where miracles are concerned, our thinking, logical, rationalizing mind is a hindrance. Perhaps silencing the tendency to figure out and make sense of things is the most fruitful work we can undertake. Better to be quiet and keep still than indulge in habitual patterns of thinking that obstruct Spirit's activity within us. All manifestations of life originate in the silence. The Society of Silent Unity wrote in Unity Volume 17 in 1902, "The thoughts that rise in you and come to the surface in deed and act, are they not from the silence? Do you take a step or lift a hand that it has not its motives from the depths of the mighty sea of throbbing life from your own being? Then why look to the external for that which comes only from the silence within? Muting the perpetual cycle of thought is a gift that brings greater peace. For Zechariah, muteness was imposed, but we are called to mute our own thoughts. Spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle suggests we practice being mindful of the gap between where one thought concludes and another begins. As we become adept in resting in this gap, we can simply be present to what's in the moment. Mental chatter ceases, and we create neutrality for an experience of divine presence. With quiet minds and open hearts, we find rest in the peace that surpasses all understanding. It's why I've come to believe Zechariah's muteness was not a punishment, but a gift. It's a gift we are all invited to give as well as to receive. This was written by Reverend Kurt Condra. And from John 14:21, we read, I am leaving you with a gift, peace of mind and heart. And the peace I give is a gift the world cannot give. So do not be troubled or afraid. On this day of Advent, I create space between my thoughts and my heart's lead. Let's place that slide on the screen and let's all proclaim that together. On this day of Advent, I create space between my thoughts and let my heart lead. In this second week of Advent, we light the candle to symbolize peace we can experience in the coming Christ Spirit. Last Sunday, Dan lit the faith and hope candle, and this Sunday I would like to invite Dan to come up and light our peace candle.
Children, oh come one and all, oh come to the cradle in Bethlehem's stall. When Jesus the baby was born on that night, he taught us we all shine with heavenly light.
Today, the musical inspiration will be provided by the Unity Music Team, and the message will be provided by our Unity Ministry Co-Coordinator, Reverend Lynette Carlson.
Peace, peace, peace on earth and goodwill to all. This is a time
Beautiful. Thank you. Whew. Peace. I hope your home is peaceful this morning. It's hard to know if peace in the home starts with peace in the heart or vice versa. But we are grateful for peace wherever we find it. For a child has been born for us, a son given to us. Authority rests on his shoulders, and he is named Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace. His authority shall grow continually, and there shall be endless peace for the throne of David and his kingdom. He will establish and uphold it with justice and with righteousness for this time onward and forevermore. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will do this. This is the traditional Hebrew scripture, a passage from the prophet Isaiah for the second Sunday in Advent, when we focus our attention on peace. You may recognize some of those words from Handel's Messiah. In this passage, Isaiah prophesied that there would come forth a shoot out of the stock of Jesse. This would be a redeemer and a savior whose judgment and whose spirit of peace would reconcile the whole world. All Christians have expected Jesus Christ and those who call themselves Christians to bring about this prophecy. But where's the evidence? Where is the failure, and who is responsible for the fact that peace is not reigning far and wide? Well, Charles Fillmore posed these questions in an article he wrote in December of 1937, which was almost 2 years before Germany invaded Poland and started World War II. With Christianity the predominant faith of the Western world, why, Charles Fillmore asked, was the Prince of Peace unable to prevent this war? In this article, Charles asks, why this impotency? We cannot help but think that there is something radically wrong with this army of the Lord. His representatives are evidently not understanding or carrying out the orders of the Prince of Peace. They are listening rather to the war cry of the insane destroyers of the world's civilizations. Instead of praying for universal peace, for the reign of peace and love, they're praying for the victory of their own armies. They celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ with elaborate displays of loyalty to him and his work. Mention the fact of his birth to the average Christian, and he will associate it solely with the advent of Jesus of Nazareth and none other. Charles pointed out that not only is the Christ mind that Jesus brought to light ignored, but the work of Jesus in demonstrating that Christ's mind is banished. The average Christian does not really believe, as taught by Paul, that Christ should be formed within men and women. It is through prayer and meditation and the process of learning to surrender our egoic personalities to the higher consciousness of the indwelling Christ that this formation of the Christ mind within us occurs. I had the opportunity to practice this recently. I spent almost 3 weeks last month with my family in Central Illinois, I stayed in my sister's home while I cared for my parents after my mother's cancer surgery. They live about a mile apart, so it was an easy commute. My relationship with my sister has not always been peaceful, as I have confessed here before. But I was determined this time to seek a higher consciousness where she was concerned. And in the process, I learned something. I realized that my personality, the human side of how I present myself in the world, is conditioned where my sister Nancy is concerned to be snide, snarky, and sarcastic. Kind of like we were stuck in that era when I thought I was a big deal sophomore in high school and she was just a little 8th grader. Well, unlike back then, I now can recognize that I had alternatives. I thought I had to treat her that way back then, and for far too many years in between, I might add. But I realized that I no longer had to put her down to make myself feel better. I'm embarrassed to say that was a revelation, but in fact it was. I think Zara Pelfrey, who writes our beautiful lessons for the children, would say that I used my power of will to choose a better way this time. And I am delighted to say that my sister responded beautifully. Now, I don't know if she made a conscious effort to get along or if I really did set the tone for both of us, but we got along better for a longer period of time than I can remember. And I was aware of those moments where I felt the temptation to revert to type, if you will, to be that smart aleck that all too easily comes to mind and to voice with her especially. But I was keenly aware that it was not me, but the Christ who was doing this work through me, as me. So when I got my smart alecky personality out of the way, my divine individuality had the room to be the peace that I wanted to see in this relationship. And I have to say, my efforts were rewarded on the day we celebrated Thanksgiving, when my mother said, "It's so nice to hear you all in the kitchen." Because she wasn't able to be in there with us, and occasionally that's where blood has been drawn on holidays. But we really did behave ourselves, and it was a pleasant time for all of us. A real gift to my mother as well. Isaiah recognized that the spark of divinity within each of us, through which we can lift up our human tendencies into the divine, that shoot that was to come out of Jesse is an ever-living principle in humanity that's been submerged, cut down until it's merely a stump that exists in many of us today. In our human consciousness. But there is enough spiritual energy in that stump that when it's revived, when it's reawakened, when we are conscious that we have a choice about how we're going to behave, then the divine can be brought forth, which is the Christ. Isaiah's prophecies have always been interpreted by Christians, at least, as referring to Jesus of Nazareth. However, there is no evidence that Isaiah had any individual in mind when he wrote these words. We kind of read backward into his prophecy and see that baby who was born in the manger so many years later. In a metaphysical interpretation, Isaiah saw that there was a great universal principle, the Spirit of God, that was waiting to become active in all of us. When this was born in humanity, then we would rise to our divinity. So I decided to take a passage from Isaiah about the stump of Jesse, and I rewrote it just slightly, just enough to capture this truth of which Charles Fillmore wrote. A shoot shall come out of the stump of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of those roots. The Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon you, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and the awe of the divine. Your delight shall be in the awe of the divine. You shall not judge by what your eyes see, or decide by what your ears hear. But with righteousness you shall judge the poor, and decide with equity for the meek of the earth. You shall strike the earth with the rod of your mouth, and with the breath of your lips you shall defeat the wicked. Righteousness shall be the belt around your waist, and faithfulness the belt around your loins. Did you hear that? Just by changing the pronouns, it helps us to see that this passage can be about us and not just about the man Jesus, who fully actualized his Christ potential, not to prove that he was better than the rest of us, but to demonstrate that we had that same potential within us. When we merge our individual egos with divine mind in prayer and meditation, then we can realize our ability to be the divine emissaries of peace that our world so desperately needs. Isaiah teaches that realizing our Christ potential brings peace, not only in the outer world, but also within us, because the animal forces will be pacified. And he says so in this verse, also from Isaiah. And the wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. Charles reminds us that this verse is poetical. It's not to be taken literally. He says that it deals with principles with the wolf, the devouring element in humanity, and with the innocent, loving nature of the lamb. They shall become unified within our human consciousness. And when we have produced this unity, we shall find that the childlike mind will be restored to us. I think that's part of what happened as I related to my sister. I was able to quiet the wolf and allow the lamb to interact with her, and it called forth the lamb in her too. When we consider the Prince of Peace, we find that it deals with wonderful principles that are idealized and yet not carried out fully in the world or in the lives of those who follow Jesus. Charles ends this article with this word of hope. This beautiful poetical vision of Isaiah's is capable of expression in the world today. Now, he was talking about the world of 1937, remember, but we need it every bit as much today. Sooner or later, we must come to a recognition of Spirit's guiding power. We must incorporate it into our civilization. Then we shall have world peace. And then we shall know what it is to celebrate the birth of the Christ mind. We shall know what it is to renew in our minds and in our lives that wonderful Spirit which was in the Lord Jesus Christ. So this Christmas, let's not allow that image of the newborn baby to be our only sense of what is being reborn and renewed with us. That the Christ mind within us is our purchase, is our hope to be able to make a difference in our world. And now our music team will help us prepare for meditation.
Oh, come, thou wisdom from on high, and order all things far and nigh. To us the path of knowledge show, and calls us in her ways to go. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel.
Take a deep breath and let it out completely. Oh, take another one. And as you exhale, let your body relax, become soft. Even as you sit tall wherever you are, let go a little bit. Breathe deeply and fully, yet gently and quietly, in and out through your nose and out through your mouth. Give yourself permission to do nothing. Give yourself permission to embrace this moment of stillness in which there is nothing at all that needs to be done other than staying here, relatively still, watching the breath. As you watch your breath with an easy, relaxed, and spacious mind, place some small amount of attention on what else the mind or body is feeling. Notice your own discomfort in simply being present and doing nothing. Notice if the mind would rather run off toward the future, a to-do list, or planning. Notice if the mind would rather busy itself with renewing the past or thinking. And each time you notice, acknowledge the pull of movement, of distraction, And then, with the loving patience of a compassionate elder, give your mind permission to rest. Help the mind settle, be at peace, be still, by guiding toward the awareness of body and breath. Without thinking of breath, be present with breath. Without thinking of body, be present with body. Feel into breath and body as you let the mind rest. Allow the mind to feel spacious, open, and at ease. Allow the mind to drop into peace. The bliss of no longer needing to do. The bliss of simply being. The not doing includes no longer fighting against the movement of the mind or the rising thoughts. Allow this too to simply be. Chase nothing. Distraction will arise, but there is nothing to do. Notice, acknowledge, and love. And you'll find yourself again in the spaciousness of presence with the body and with the breath. Feel into the preciousness of this moment, this relative quiet, relative stillness, relative peace. Recognize its beauty with your whole body, the freedom in resting, the spaciousness in stillness. Give yourself permission to stay right here for as long as you'd like. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing more sacred or more worthy than this. Just watching, noticing, being present with your body and your breath. Give yourself permission to be at peace in the silence.
We turn now to the spiritual practice of generosity. We are grateful for the many ways that this center supports us in our spiritual growth. And we, in turn, are happy to support the center with our financial contributions and our voluntary service. We are also grateful for those who have already put into place automatic weekly, monthly, or quarterly giving. Thank you. Today, if you feel led to give, please visit our website of unityofbloomington.org and click the giving link. You can also place a check in the mail, and our mailing address is 4001 South Rogers Street in Bloomington, Indiana, 47403. And I invite you now to place your hands over your heart as we say our abundance affirmation. Together, I am an abundant being living in an abundant universe. God is the source of my supply. I am not dependent on people or situations for my good. God is the source of my supply. I always have something to give, and I consistently give it. I expect the best, I give my best, and I now attract the best in every experience.
I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to all. I thought how as the day had come, the belfries of all Christendom had rolled along the unbroken song of peace on earth, goodwill to all, till ringing, singing on its way, the world revolved from night to day, a voice, a chime, a chant sublime of peace on earth, goodwill to all.
I would like to bless the offerings received with these words. Together, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I'd like to invite our prayer partner this week, Ginger Curry, to close the service.
Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Andy, Seb, Phyllis, Reverend Lynn, Penny, Dan, and Betsy, and Terry, I think, who is our virtual greeter today. We are going to close our service today with the love prayer, and then we will join together in singing, "Let There Be Peace on Earth." So join with me in saying the love prayer together. We give thanks for the light that fills us, the love that enfolds us, the power that heals us, the presence that guides us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now let's sing together, "Let There Be Peace on Earth."
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be
peace-filled and blessed week. Namaste.